Sophie Cunningham just completely lit up the WNBA headlines with one of the most unapologetic, brutally honest interviews fans have seen in years. No filters, no media training, no watered-down PR answers, just Sophie, sitting in front of a mic, sipping coffee, and saying everything that's been simmering under the surface for months. The internet couldn't get enough of it. Overnight, her words spread like wildfire across social media, turning one laid-back podcast into one of the most talked-about sports interviews of the year. But this isn't just about Sophie Cunningham going off. This is about the moment she said out loud what everyone else in the WNBA whispers behind closed doors. Now, for those who somehow missed the spark that set this off, here's the backstory. It all started with something small. So small, it shouldn't have even been a headline. The Indianapolis Colts hosted the Indiana Fever at one of their games. It was supposed to be a light-hearted crossover moment between the WNBA and the NFL. The Colts handed out custom jerseys to every Fever player, a simple gesture meant to celebrate Indiana's growing sports unity. Every player smiled, posed, and threw their jersey on. Well, almost every player. Because when Caitlin Clark, the Fever's rookie phenomenon, the player who's practically carried the WNBA's media coverage this season, was handed her Colts jersey, she didn't put it on. Instead, she just held it up. No dramatic statement, no protest, no explanation. Just a polite smile and a simple gesture that said, "Thanks, but I'll pass." And here's the thing. Caitlin grew up in Iowa. She's not just any fan, she's a die-hard Kansas City Chiefs supporter. She's said it before, proudly. So when she didn't wear that Colts jersey, the internet didn't see disrespect. They saw loyalty. They saw authenticity. They saw a player who didn't fake enthusiasm for the cameras, who didn't play along just to make everyone else comfortable. Within hours, social media exploded. Fans flooded Twitter and TikTok, calling her a real one, a true fan, someone who doesn't fold for PR. And right in the middle of that internet storm came Sophie Cunningham. Now, if there's one thing anyone knows about Sophie, it's that she doesn't hold back. Never has, never will. Whether it's calling out her own team, roasting the WNBA front office, or dropping a few unfiltered lines that leave everyone else scrambling to catch up. Speaking her mind is Sophie's brand. So when she jumped on the Show Me Something podcast in her home state of Missouri, the vibe was chill. She was just hanging out, sipping coffee, chatting with friends. No script, no agenda, no PR handler hovering nearby. But that relaxed setup became the stage for something way bigger, because halfway through a casual conversation about horses, family, and off-season plans, Sophie did what she does best. She spoke her mind. She brought up the Caitlin Clark jersey moment, and suddenly, the tone shifted. Sophie laughed, leaned back, and said, "That was awesome. I hope Caitlin knows how cool that was." Simple words, right? But it was the way she said it, the admiration, the excitement, the raw respect that got people talking. She wasn't mocking Caitlin. She was celebrating her. Then she added, "I'm not surprised by it at all. Everyone's always trying to get her to wear something, to do something, and for her to just be like, 'Nah, I'm good. I love that.'" And in that moment, Sophie wasn't just commenting on a jersey. She was commenting on the culture, the constant pressure on female athletes to please everyone, to be perfectly agreeable, perfectly polite, perfectly on brand. But Caitlin Clark didn't play that game, and Sophie loved her for it. That authenticity spoke to something deeper, something Sophie herself has wrestled with for years. The expectations, the criticism, the balancing act of being yourself in a league that sometimes punishes honesty. Sophie's praise for Caitlin wasn't about football loyalty or team politics. It was about self-respect. And the internet noticed. Clips of Sophie calling Caitlin awesome went viral instantly. Fans started commenting things like, "Sophie gets it," and "Real recognizes real." It was the kind of organic, genuine moment that no PR department could ever manufacture. But that was just the beginning. Because Sophie wasn't done talking, the podcast rolled on, and as it did, her tone shifted again. The laughs turned into something sharper, frustration, maybe even exhaustion. When the host brought up her recent controversies, especially that infamous rant where she called out WNBA leadership for not knowing the game, Sophie didn't dodge it. She doubled down. "I'm not going back on what I said," she told the host, her voice steady. "Maybe how I said it could have been better, but I meant it." Then she laughed, a quick smirk breaking the tension. "I might have been a little harsh, but it's also just me." Classic Sophie. Half apology, half mic drop. She even explained why she refuses to censor herself. "When I cuss, people think I'm uneducated, but I know what I'm talking about. I just cuss." And honestly, she's got a point. That raw energy, that emotion, it's what makes her real. It's what makes people listen. Sophie isn't afraid to be passionate. She isn't afraid to be loud. And she definitely isn't afraid to call out what she sees as hypocrisy. When asked if she regretted calling out Kathy Engelbert or the WNBA front office, she didn't blink. "No," she said. "Maybe I shouldn't have cussed, but I meant every word." It was the kind of blunt honesty fans rarely hear anymore. No walking on eggshells, no rehearsed answers, just truth. And that truth hit home. Because for all the controversy, all the headlines, Sophie's point was simple. The people making the biggest decisions in the WNBA don't always understand the game the way players do. They might be good business people, she said, but they don't know basketball. That one line alone blew up across the internet. Again, fans and analysts started debating it instantly. Some said she was out of line, others said she was absolutely right. But either way, everyone was listening. And that's the thing about Sophie Cunningham. Whether you love her or can't stand her, you can't ignore her. Even when she's being controversial, she's captivating. Her mix of blunt honesty, country girl charm, and dry humor makes her impossible to tune out. She can roast the league one minute, laugh about horses the next, and somehow it all feels natural. That's her magic. By the time the first clips from the podcast started trending, it wasn't just WNBA fans tuning in. Sports networks picked it up. Talk shows replayed her lines. Even NFL fans were chiming in, connecting Caitlyn's jersey moment with Sophie's no-nonsense defense of authenticity. It turned into a conversation bigger than basketball, about loyalty, individuality, and what it means to stay true to yourself when the spotlight gets blinding.